Hi, welcome to Journal with me. Today's journaling session will be just 5 minutes, and I encourage you obviously to go along and journal with me. So I'm only doing 5 minutes today because that's the time that I have, and that's my choice. And I encourage you to do the same thing. Be flexible with the amount of time that you can journal, especially if you're trying to build the habit. You don't have to journal for a certain amount of time or journal in a certain way or use a specific notebook. Don't try to, the more specifics you try to, the more specific rules you try to create around the habit, the harder it will probably be for you to get going with it. So first it's just a matter of finding your own rhythm, finding what works for you, making your own rules. It's your journal, it's your journaling habit. So today, for me, it's 5 minutes. And what am I going to journal about? If you're looking for ideas to journal about, there's lots that you can Google, but what I'm going to do today is first I'll start with my gratitude journaling. So every morning and evening, right before bed, I write 3 things that I'm grateful for. And they could be big things, little things, could be as simple as like I'm grateful for this table that I'm writing on, I'm grateful for this book, or it could be big things like I'm grateful for, my family, or something specific that happened that day, that week, that year, whatever. So I'm going to start first with the 3 things that I'm grateful for. And then I'm just going to write about how I'm feeling this morning, how I'm feeling, what's on my mind, and a bit about my day ahead or whatever comes to my mind. No pressure. It's just my journal. So if you're looking for some ideas, you can follow along and do the same. You can journal for the full 5 minutes with me or just a couple of minutes or keep going when I finish. Totally up to you. So, but whatever you do, I do invite you to grab a notebook. You can hit pause real quick, but grab your notebook, grab a journal, grab a couple of pieces of paper if that's what you have on hand. No excuses. Don't just jump around through YouTube, as I know, because it's easy to do. I can relate. But instead, actually take this time to journal with me. So, my timer, 5 minutes, okay. Okay. That was 5 minutes. And as you see, 5 minutes goes really quickly. The timer went off and I was still writing and I wanted to finish what I wrote. This was interesting for me. As I started writing, like my first gratitude statement led into me just like a bit more of an exploration of like how I'm feeling in general. So that gratitude statement was really long. That doesn't usually happen. Usually I just write the 3 statements and then I begin writing about how I feel. But again, there's no rules. Journaling is like freedom. Like, think about journaling and building the habit as a place where you're free. That's the best way I could explain it. But there's so many like rules in life and so much that we have to follow and do things this way. And if you don't do it that way, for example, like you take up an exercise habit, running or weightlifting, you have to stick with a particular form, right? Otherwise, if you don't do it correctly, if you don't stick with the right form, you can injure yourself. The exercise won't be as effective. You won't get the same results, all kinds of things like that. It's not really so with journaling. I mean, there are ways if you could go too deep down a negative spiral or something like that, and you don't have help, and maybe you need professional help. That's a different ballgame. But for most of the times when you sit to journal, really think about it as a space and a place where you can be free, free of judgment, free of criticism. Don't criticize yourself. Just write. You could either follow specific prompts, have something that you're writing about, maybe goals that you're working on, things, even just general intentions. But you can also just write stream of consciousness. I have a whole video. I'll put a link to that in the description below, but I have a link to that. That's a very powerful way of journaling. And a lot of that was chronicled in Julia Cameron's excellent book, The Artist's Way. But I'll put a link to the video where I explain about stream of consciousness journaling. That's another very powerful way of journaling, especially in the morning. But yeah, think about your journal as your free space. And if you're worried about writing about somebody or something sensitive that someone could come along and read it afterwards, well, guess what? It's yours. You can rip that piece of paper up. That you can rip the page out of your journal. You can totally discard it. You do whatever you want. Lock it away. Put it someplace safe. But yeah, I just invite you to really think about it as your safe space and a place and a time where you can be free. All right, I'm thinking about doing some evening journal with me sessions. So kind of like a cozy evening, like light some candles, because I do journal in the evening, but I'm thinking about recording them. So journal with me in the evening. If that sounds good to you, drop a comment below just saying, yes, please, journal in the evening or record some journaling in the evening. I hope that you did come along with me and that you did journal with me. And if you did, again, leave a comment below.